Movement in gaming has a rich and long history, originating from classic titles like Team Fortress, Quake, and Half-Life, which were all released in the late 1990s. During that era, mastering movement was essential for speedrunning and gaining a competitive advantage. In Counter-Strike Source, this legacy only continued, and old movement techniques were given special terms such as bunny hopping, air strafing, and surfing. They have only continued to evolve over the next 2 decades. As players honed their movement skills, legendary players and videos were created, which have forever shaped the history of Counter-Strike and gaming in general. One legendary player who went by Phoon is the most iconic and well-known movement player of all time. At the start of 2010, he released a video titled Phoon, Too Much for Z-Block, and shared it on ESEA, a community similar to Faceit where professional players used to play. The video went viral and received millions of views, and it's likely been watched over 100 million times across all re-uploads. Z-Block was an ESEA anti-cheat that was supposed to be hard to bypass and make bunny hopping really difficult. And Phoon's video just made the point that it was still possible even with Z-Block because he was quite literally too much for the anti-cheat. In the video, he trolled well-known players that would eventually become professionals in the CS scene. The video also invented a lot of popular memes and phrases like, "He's a speed demon," or "Admin, he's doing it sideways," which have become a popular part of modern gaming culture. There's always been a lot of debate over whether Phoon bunny hop scripted or not. We do know that he wrote Lua scripts and shared a lot of config settings on his old website, and many older ESEA players have argued that bunny hopping at the insane speeds he achieved was impossible without scripts. I would say that it's pretty likely he scripted, but we'll never truly know for sure, and maybe it doesn't really matter since his videos were entertaining either way. So what actually happened to Phoon, and why did he delete his channel and disappear from the internet? Well, once CSGO came out, the dynamics of the game changed significantly. Valve introduced countless changes that nerfed movement and made the game less fun in general, particularly for a movement player like Phoon, who could no longer bunny hop at insane speeds. During the CSGO beta, techniques like flash boosting were still possible, but they were quickly removed from the game. In 2015, ladder speeds were nerfed, double run boosting was restricted, multiple boost spots were removed, and maps just gradually became wider and duller to say the least. Add in the removal of Old Nuke, which many movement players considered one of the best maps of all time, and the game just wasn't the same anymore. CSGO had started to lose touch with its roots that made the game special for movement players. It's not surprising that Phoon quit, and his last video was just a compilation of Deagle frags, serving as a farewell to the community. After Phoon, multiple movement players tried to replicate his success and continue his legacy. One underground movement player, known as Segura, often attempted to mirror Phoon's playstyle, even incorporating old hip-hop tracks like MF Doom into his videos that Phoon was known for. Although Segura never reached Phoon's level of fame, he managed to carve out his own niche and keep the spirit of movement alive, continuing to inspire and entertain the community. But someone else who was arguably the biggest Phoon fanboy was LOLYOU. His videos were often titled with phrases like cheat or cheater to attract views. And unlike Phoon and Segura, who viewed their videos as a form of art, LOLYOU was more focused on fame and notoriety. This is why he was frequently bullied and teased by Phoon and other movement players for disrespecting movement, which was seen as a sacred art by many movement players. LOLYOU would also attempt to capitalize on Phoon's fame by putting Phoon in his video titles whenever they played together because he wanted to be seen as associated with the legendary movement player. Over the years, LOLYOU began to fall off and stopped uploading completely in 2017. Today, he's just a regular player, which he arguably always was. The most significant remnant of his legacy is the Dinosaur Group, which has over 400 members today. Many players used to use the tag to feel special or appear as OG, but few truly understand the group's history and the controversies that surround its owner. Now that tags are no longer a thing, he's resorted to including the tag in his name. Next, we have Nohat, which was one of the first big movement groups in CSGO. As you might guess, the owner and all of the players in this group were also huge fans of Phoon, and even the group itself was named after Phoon's old group called Nice Hat, which Segura also titled one of his videos. Nohat's creator went by Hip Scripts, or just Hip. He became semi-popular for hitting 20+ bunny hops in a row with a mouse cam in their videos to prove that he wasn't scripting. During this era, movement or bunny hop skill was often measured in who could hit the most consecutive hops in a row. There wasn't much of a skill ceiling other than that, and movement players would often rely on weird exploits like capping their game FPS to 32 using fraps or bandicam in order to hit more bunny hops in a row, since FPS max didn't work for values below 60. At the time and even in the following years, Nohat was known as the movement group that housed only the most best and well-known movement players. There were countless copies that people made in order to use the Nohat tag and pretend they were in it. People paid hundreds of dollars to be able to join the official group, just so they could use the tag for attention and internet fame. Hip knew a lot of people were desperate to join his group, so he abused this, and sold lots of invites and let randoms join the group. He would eventually kick them all, but it didn't change the fact that the prestige Nohat once had was now gone. Due to this, people stopped caring about the group, and it's been dead for over 5 years now. Another well-known movement player who blew up in 2015 is Alice Allen. She created videos similar to Segura, but with brighter, more mainstream music and much flashier kills. The videos were more quick-paced and entertaining, and some of the movement clips were so crazy that they often made it to the top of Reddit and got over 20,000 views. This was a lot at the time, as the CSGO community was much smaller than it is today, and YouTube itself was less mainstream. The movement community was awestruck since Alice wasn't just uploading videos where they hit 10 flat surface bunny hops in a row. They were doing 360 run boost bunny hop no-scopes across the map against popular streamers like Mo. The concept of routes also began to be formed in their videos, as they showcased clips of jumping around boxes and fully utilizing every object on the map in order to do flashy movement. A lot of people suspected and accused Alice of cheating. LOLYOU made a video exposing Alice for cheating, probably driven by jealousy, since he was no longer considered a movement god, and his clips paled in comparison. DubDinoX, also known as Franz J Today, was also a huge Alice fanboy and would frequently follow them around in game and call them mommy, and even made a dedicated SoundCloud playlist with all of the songs Alice has used. Alice always denied cheating, but they admitted to it before deleting her YouTube channel. Although nearly everyone hated Alice, and still does to this day, there was one person who surprisingly respected them, and it was Phoon. Phoon respected Alice because they were doing their own unique thing and not just copying him. They say imitation is the greatest form of flattery, but Phoon thought otherwise. He didn't appreciate people who tried to copy his style. Over the following years, a new era was born, and a fresh wave of movement players emerged, each bringing their unique style and creativity to the scene. But nearly all of them were cheating now. The most well-known person of this era is Author, also known as Buddha, who began expanding on Alice's playstyle in 2016 and onwards. His videos showcase longer and more difficult routes and a stronger mastery of the movement cheating playstyle. His videos garnered significant attention and views, especially after Time Is But a Window released a video showcasing his insane movement, which almost got 1 million views. Author's playstyle set a new standard in the movement community, and this was basically the end of legit movement players, since movement cheating clips vastly raised the bar. Of course, you could still do it, but it just wasn't as special or as entertaining anymore, especially when someone cheating could make far better clips with a fraction of the time and effort. A weird trend in the movement community is that many movement players delete their channels or videos after becoming successful for some reason. This includes Phoon, Alice, and Author was no exception. Author would upload videos and then delete them shortly after, and other movement players would re-upload them with Author re-upload in the title. This strange practice became a recurring theme in the movement community, with other movement players following the bizarre trend of deleting and re-uploading content every day. So today you have thousands of movement re-upload videos on YouTube since so many of them deleted their videos. There's likely multiple reasons why people did this, but if I had to guess, it's because most movement players are insecure about their videos, which is why a lot of their videos are in low FPS and titled random characters or nonsense gibberish, since they're afraid to give the video an identity or personality. It's much easier if your content just looks random and lost in the noise of similar videos, as opposed to standing out and potentially receiving a lot of negative feedback for trying to be serious and unique. Other known movement groups were Exfa and Zuhn. Similar to Nohat, both groups have tons of fake groups that people created and joined to pretend they're members. There are the ironic fake groups, and then the groups pretending to be ironic. As for the official groups, none of the members particularly stood out from each other. They all made roughly the same cookie-cutter format videos. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, but most of them focused more on editing rather than the clips themselves. As a result, the frags were often hard to see due to all the special effects and edits, which took away from the main point of the clip. In the movement community, there were some unspoken rules. One was that you weren't allowed to use any cheat features that made movement too easy or remove the point entirely. This included things like movement recorder or auto strafe. One player, known as IU, began uploading videos using movement recorder and faking clips against bots. His channel was quickly growing, but once he was exposed for faking clips, he made most of his videos private and quit entirely. As the years passed from 2020 and onwards, movement and clip standards steadily increased each year. Authors' videos popularized movement to the point that hundreds of players were now movement cheating, and the trend was spreading like wildfire. Movement cheats also began to rise in popularity to keep up with the competition. Various movement cheats like Millionware started gaining attention, and in recent years, other cheats like Inturium and Clarity have also blown up. This increase in standards and surge in movement cheating made movement players extremely desperate to get clips however they could, leading to movement cheating servers where you're not allowed to shoot players unless you complete a cool route, or faking clips against bots in offline mode, which is ironic since that's what IU was cancelled for. Players like Zuhn and Woke also became prominent in the scene. They adopted the formula that older movement players had created, but added a personality to it, which helped their channels grow since faceless Anons uploading movement videos could only go so far. Woke was actually exposed for cheating, and Zuhn was also banned on his main account. People later found out that he had older videos showing how to paste cheats. Zuhn made up a really lame excuse, claiming he was hacked and that being the reason why he was banned. He claimed that someone hacked his account, injected a cheat, but left the skins and everything else untouched. And conveniently, he was banned during a ban wave. No one really believed he was hacked, but thousands of young fans either didn't know or didn't care. So this didn't hurt Zuhn's channel or reputation. To this day, Zuhn still has an active and large following, but some still believe he cheats. I would say he's probably not cheating anymore since he has a lot more to lose. Today, the movement scene is somewhat alive, but most of the older players have quit. BreezeTix, who was a relatively known movement player in the scene for a couple of years, followed the old trend of deleting his YouTube channel. Since CS2's release, most of the movement cheats have died, and it seems unlikely they'll make a return. There haven't really been any notable newcomers to the scene, which suggests that the genre may be dying or that fewer people care to watch movement videos anymore.